I mean, I think that's a worthy goal for someone to go through season 3 with a pad of pen in their hand and see if anybody calls. Does anybody call Gordon a asshole? Asshole is not gendered. It would have to be bastard, although bastard is a double hit because it insults the man for being illegitimate, but it also insults his mother for having sex out of wedlock.
No, because Dean calls him a son of a bitch, and Gordon backhands him and don't insult my mother.
There you go. Well, my questions would be if the problem is the specific words that he is using, what would be better words for him to use when he is, pissed off? When he's pissed off, what would you replace those words with? Because you're so limited by being on this network.
Right.
You can't say fuck and you can't say shit. You can't say asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what?
Jackass. Can we say jackass on TV?
Yeah.
There's a show called that.
Jackass all the time. But they printed it in TV Guide, so.
I mean, part of
That's a good question, though. I don't know what you would replace that with.
What words are okay? I'm always confused as to what words are okay.
If you duty head.
Just bleach it all out.
Which one?
Why is the one related to women? I won't say it.
I mean,
Why because you're calling.
But why is that one allowed and other ones aren't?
You mean like as far as
It's
it's really
in the
kind of
dictionary as something else.
Dean can say, son of a bitch, and he can call someone a bitch. But can he say asshole? No. I don't think so.
No.
You can't say shit. I mean.
yeah.
So it's the people that make those rules are also against women.
Yeah, there we go.
No, that's
historical. I mean, society.
Yeah.
Society's always had this example.
The magic with
Yeah. I mean.
I think I said that all the time.
That's the girl
something that women use or
Right.
used to use at one point. But they're specifically looking at mentally retarded. It's directed towards mentally retarded people, so it's considered hate speech.
I was gonna say too that you think about like how we called Dean short bus. That was a big.
Yeah, it was rubbish.
That was a.
He called her every name pretty much under the sun, and she came back with short bus.
And it was
And he was all upset about it too.
And I think we were talking about this last night. It would have been, if the girls could come back with just as strong. She did. I mean, Ruby did in the end. I mean, she called him a dick, but we had to wait for the finale to finally get there. But it's the sort of inequality in the insults, really.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and I'd rather see the whole thing, scaled back than see the women start insult, because again, we're talking about the way to make it okay is to make the women make the same transgressions as the men.
Yeah.
It's like, so if we make the women more like the men, then that's okay. Well, no, because then you're saying male paradigms are the only ones that are valid, which is misogynistic. Yeah, it's a fine. The thing about misogyny, it is so ingrained in our society. I mean, you talk about what are the words? What are the insult words that aren't gendered? Well, you talk about the word whore being gendered toward women, but I don't feel that's a word that's necessarily gendered toward women. When I use the word whore, I mean a person who degrades or debases themselves for money or some other kind of
You normally say man whore.
Yeah, but we preface it.
We preface it.
Like, oh, he's man whore or something like that. You have to put man in front of it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily
But
do that. I would say, oh, he's such a whore. He's totally going to do that job. She's a fake whore.
I think we put man in front of it because boys are stupid. We need that extra little push to get them there.
Wait, what do you mean, me? Okay.
You're talking about a word that you're reclaiming in a way, similar to the way that some women, and this is going on tape, so I don't know if I should say it, I'll let it out. Like you're talking about, you know, like the way that some women have tried to reclaim the word cunt, you know, which is like the ultimate throwdown insult in a lot of places. And you know, there's a really great feminist book out by the name of Cunt that's like trying to reclaim this word and say, yeah, you know, this is our strength right here, boobs. C-E-C-T. But the fact of the matter is, in common usage, that word is gendered and comes from the roots of an insult towards a woman who prostitutes herself and who is of low moral character. So, you know, the reclaiming bit is, although noble, doesn't always work. And there's an interesting article that I pulled up here as well. Yeah, it's one step up from romance literature, which gets no respect as well. So yeah, chick traditionally, you know, again, if you've reclaimed the word for yourself, that's great. But in common usage, chick still has negative connotations.
But don't you have to reclaim it person by person?
You do.
I mean, you're not going to change the entire society's use of the word bitch until it becomes, we as wives, mothers, sisters, daughters.
That's an article on the word bitch in Television Today, and they are making the argument that bitch is no longer an insult for women. It's an insult to weak men. So stop being such a bitch. But the thing is, what the article doesn't go on to extrapolate, the next step is, the reason these boys are being called weak is because their behavior is being compared to that of girls. You know, stop being such a girl, stop being such a bitch. Like the two are synonymous.
Because being male is not being female. And then take great pride in not being female.
Right. That male is the paradigm. Stand.
No, the club we don't belong to.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But, you know, where's my RSPCT? R-E-S. I am SMRT. You know, where's my respect for being a woman? Why do I get called a bitch for it?
He's busy.
I mean, part of the
Really
kind of
interesting. I mean, if you look at the show as something kind of superficial, but then this is a deep, like, it's an important discussion to have. And it's good that we have, you know, outlets to talk about it and kind of discuss it as a group.
Because I mean, it's like I said, I never even thought about it, I'll be honest. It's like,
Literally, I never noticed it until it's kind of erupted.
Speaking of words, why is chick an insult? Because that to me has always been just the female equivalent of guy.
Or dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I love this thing.
Yeah. I told you.
I'm on board. Traditionally, it has negative connotations associated with it. The chick is, you know, like chick flick or chick lit is something that denotes it as being less than because it's reserved for the category of women. You know, chick lit gets no respect. And the term chick lit is sort of like, oh, well, you know, she's reading one of those, you know, books with the big bright pink cover. Have you noticed how all chick lit is like pastels, most of them pink, when they're selling in the store? Yeah, it's, you know, one step up from romance literature, which gets no respect as well. So yeah, chick traditionally, you know, again, if you've reclaimed the word for yourself, that's great, but in common usage, chick still has negative connotations.
but don't you have to reclaim it person by person?
You
I mean,
do.
you're not going to change the entire society's use of the word bitch until it becomes, we as wives, mothers, sisters, daughters, start using it and saying, look bitch, I don't know what your problem is, but and you start using it, and you take away part of that negative connotation until you start using it and reclaiming, as you said, either you have to stop using it, or you have to use it for yourself, and make it appropriate for, as to how you feel about the word. So, I mean, the question is, we're going to swear, because that's just human nature. You stub your toe, there's a word coming out of your mouth, and you know, now,
It's generally not nice.
generally no, it might be fudging, but, you know, I mean, depending on where you were brought up and how you're brought up and how you live your life, those words. So the question is, what words do you choose and what words do you purposely say? that in my mind, I will never use that word, or I'm gonna use this word because I don't think it should be that bad. I mean,
I don't think it
15
should
years
have
ago,
that
I don't
right.
think you could say fuck anywhere. And now, you know, with the story, I heard this 15-year-old, and I'm like, well, hello there.